everyone so much for being here today, and if you'll indulge me, I'll speak for a few minutes before letting you get back to the food and drink. I'd like to thank Alan Lowe, Brian Rocca, and Yolanda Jackson for such kind introductions, and to Judge Victor Huang for swearing me in. I'd like to recognize our event sponsors, the Asian American Bar Association of the Greater Bay Area, the Filipino Bar Association of Northern California, the API Council, and Morgan Lewis for making this evening possible. I'd like to ask for a round of applause for our volunteers who've been helping dish out drinks, for our Master of Ceremonies, Sunny Angulo, our DJ, Jeff Bostic, to Mama Tess, who dropped off some incredible food back there as well. I also want to thank Tahanan Supported Housing and Mercy Housing for being our host tonight, and to commend them for their incredible work providing permanent housing to those that have experienced homelessness. For those that don't know, Tahanan is a Filipino word. It means home, and I so appreciate the people of Mercy Housing who've given their residents here a home. And if anyone wants to learn more about them, you can go to mercyhousing.org. I'd also like to acknowledge, I know Sunny did, some of our amazing guests here tonight. We have the Consul General and Vice Consul General of the Philippine Consulate of the Republic of the Philippines here, Neil Frank Ferrer and Adrian Bakay. Thank you. We have our City Attorney, David Chu, our Public Defender, Manaraju, and our District Attorney, Chesa Bodin. We have Leo Lacroix, First Vice Chair and Parliamentarian of the San Francisco Democratic Party. From the San Francisco Superior Court, Judges Richard Darwin, Brian Farrell, and Victor Huang. I know that Supervisors Peskin, Mandelman, Mar, and Chan were hoping to be here, but got held up in a committee meeting. So you can catch them on SFCom TV. Oh no, Supervisor Chan is here, Supervisor Connie Chan. Thank you. Thank you. Fellow commissioners from other commissions across the city, Stephen Lee and Al Perez from the Entertainment Commission. Vikram Ayer from the Workforce Investment SF Board. Charles Jung from the Elections Commission. Some amazing representatives from law enforcement. As Sunny said, we have our Chief of Police, Bill Scott, here with us. Deputy Chief David Lazar. Sergeant Kenny Lee. We have Rich Ju, the Chief of Staff to our Sheriff, Paul Miyamoto. And while I'm new as Commissioner, I think I've worked with all of you in one form or another over the last 5 years, so it's nice to see friendly faces as I take this role. We also have an amazing cross-section of people from the community. You heard from Yolanda Jackson, Executive Director of the Bar Association of San Francisco. I believe somewhere is Mary McNamara, President of the Bar Association of San Francisco. Alan Sampson Manalo from Middle Stiff Studios. Dean Ido Taylor from API Legal Outreach. Eleanor Fernandez, Executive Director of the Manila Heritage Foundation. Lisa Mack, President of the Asian American Bar Association of the Greater Bay Area. Carolyn Gabati, President of the Board of the Manila Town Heritage Foundation. And frankly, I could go on and on and on. There are so many incredible people here that I'd love to recognize and appreciate your amazing work. But unfortunately, I don't want the DJ to play me off at my own swearing in, so I will move on at this point.
He's going to turn it into karaoke.
Exactly. We'll do it. We'll do the karaoke. But I'd like to take a moment to talk about 3 areas and priorities that I want to make progress on during my time on the Police Commission. First, I want to be accessible and accountable to the community. I think for many SFPD officers and many in the community, the Police Commission is too remote, too disconnected, and secluded, and I want that to change. I want to be accessible to the community. I want people in the community to feel safe and comfortable sharing their concerns and ideas with me and with the Commission. Rebuilding trust between SFPD and the community is critical, and that includes the Commission. I also want to be accessible and available to SFPD officers, so they can feel comfortable bringing their ideas and concerns to me and the Commission. The relationship between the SFPD and the Commission should be one of respect, honesty, and trust. Whether it's community events, one-on-one meetings, ride-alongs, academy visits, I hope to be active and available as a Commissioner. Second, I want San Francisco to regain its momentum and leadership on police reform. I want to start off by rejecting the false premise that we have to choose between public safety and a progressive and reform-minded department. Adopting progressive principles and best practices helps everyone. It can protect communities, build trust, and ensure that officers are prepared and best equipped to serve the community. As Brian and Yolanda mentioned, I've spent years working on criminal justice reform in San Francisco and across the country, and I plan to bring that experience and continue that work as a commissioner. A few examples of efforts I'm already working on, because as you might have mentioned, I was actually sworn in by Microsoft Teams about a week and a half ago, so starting this week, I plan to work with fellow Commissioner Max Carter-Oberstone and the SFPD in efforts to end racially biased stops in San Francisco and to reduce the racial disparity in police interactions. Recent data shows that Black San Franciscans are being stopped and searched between 6 and 10 times more than white San Franciscans. And simply put, this disparity is unacceptable. With the support of my fellow commissioners and the department, I will do everything in my power to make progress on this issue. Also, I'm pleased that Acting Commission President Cindy Elias has asked me to spearhead the Commission's work on updating SFPD's policy on search warrants, and I look forward to collaborating with the department and the community on that soon. The third thing I want to talk about tonight is I want to do everything I can to help the AAPI community feel safer. I'm so privileged to be the first Filipino-American police commissioner, though Vice President Elias reminded me she is half Filipino. I think the police commission should reflect the diversity of our San Francisco community, and I am so honored to be a part of that. It is no secret that we're living in an unprecedented and terrifying time of anti-AAPI violence. Just a year ago, we watched with horror as violence unfolded in Atlanta, and sadly, in the year since, have seen more violence unfold across the country and here in our home of San Francisco. It's scary. I know there have been times I've told my own mother to not go out alone if she can avoid it. As a member of the Police Commission, I will work tirelessly with my fellow commissioners, with Chief Scott, and with the department to combat anti-AAPI violence in our communities. As I mentioned at the start, Tahanan means home. San Francisco is our home, and we deserve to feel safe, secure, and at peace in our home. I want to thank all of you again for coming and being a part of this event. I know today's a celebration, but what comes next is the important and critical work, and I'm eager and ready to get to work. I hope that for every single person here, this is just the beginning of our work together, and that we can be partners on behalf of our shared home, our Tahanan, San Francisco. As we say in Filipino, maraming salamat sa inyong lahat. Thank you all very much for coming. Please enjoy the celebration, enjoy the food, enjoy the drink, and thank you very much.